You know, there are a few things about moving to the West Valley that people really should understand and buyers should be warned about. And honestly, some of these surprises are good and some of them aren't. Because a lot of relocation videos only show you the exciting stuff, but they're actually but if you're actually thinking about moving to Phoenix, there are some realities that you need to understand before buying. What is going on, everybody? I'm Shondelin Anderson, a realtor here in the West Valley of Phoenix. And today I'm going to give you the honest version of what buyers experience when relocating here. Because the West Valley is growing extremely fast, and understanding these things can help you make much smarter decisions. Now, I know I've talked about how big Phoenix really is and why traffic matters more than distance, but let's talk about another surprise that catches a lot of people off guard when they move here. And that's the differences between the East and West Valley and why that decision can have a huge impact on your lifestyle and your budget. The first thing that people underestimate is how massive the Phoenix metro actually is. People look at a map online and they think everything is close together, but it's not. Phoenix is spread out over more than 500 square miles, and when they include the surrounding cities like Glendale and Peoria, Surprise, Goodyear, Buckeye, Avondale, Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, and Queen Creek, you're talking about one of the largest metropolitan areas in the entire country. And here's where people get caught off guard. They'll see a home online and think, oh, that's only 20 minutes away from my office. That's not bad. But 20 miles in Phoenix can mean something completely different depending on where you're driving from and what time of day that you're driving. I've worked with a lot of relocation buyers who come from smaller cities where everything is like 10 to 15 minutes apart. And they move here and they realize that running a few errands can easily turn into an hour or more in your car. That's why I always tell my clients not to shop based on a map. Shop based on your lifestyle. Where do you work? Where do your kids go to school? How often do you travel? Do you want restaurants nearby? Do you want shopping nearby? Do you want mountain views? Do you want golf? Do you want a newer master plan community? All of these things matter because Phoenix isn't one city. It's really a collection of cities, all that offer completely different lifestyles. For example, excuse me, living in Buckeye feels very different than living in Scottsdale. Living in Surprise feels very different than living in Chandler, and living in Peoria feels different than living in downtown Phoenix. The good news is that Phoenix gives you options. The challenge is figuring out which option actually fits your day-to-day life. And that's where a lot of buyers make expensive mistakes. They buy a house that they love, but it's in a location that doesn't fit how they actually live. One of the things that people quickly realize is that traffic patterns matter more than actual mileage. Two locations may technically be the same distance away, but traffic can create completely different experiences. That's why I always tell my buyers, don't just look at mileage, look at the actual drive times. For example, you might find a beautiful home that's 25 miles from your office. On paper, that doesn't sound bad, but if that drive happens during rush hour and requires traveling through major congestion areas, the commute can feel much larger than expected. On the other hand, another home might be slightly further away and have easier freeway access and a much smoother drive. The result? You spend less time in your car every week. And trust me, after living here for a while and living in the DC metro area, that matters a lot. One of the smartest things that you can do before buying a home in the Phoenix area is test your commute. I mean, seriously, if you're relocating here, plug the address into Google Maps during the exact time that you would normally leave for work, and check it in the morning, and then check it in the evening, and then check it on a weekday. You'll get a much more realistic picture of what daily life will look like. I can't tell you how many people thank me later because they discovered the commute issue before buying instead of after buying. And here's another thing that people don't think about. Phoenix is continuing to grow rapidly, and new communities are being built all over the West Valley. New shopping centers are opening, employers are expanding, road projects are underway. All of that growth is exciting, but it also changes traffic patterns over time. So when you're choosing where to live, don't just think about today. Think about how you'll feel making that drive 2, 3, or 5 years from now, because the right house in the wrong location can become very frustrating very quickly. And the right location can make your entire experience living in Phoenix dramatically better. Another thing that buyers are shocked about is how quickly the West Valley is changing. New construction is everywhere. Road projects are everywhere. Where retail expansion is happening all around us. And honestly, many buyers who haven't visited in a few years barely recognize some of these areas anymore. One thing that people moving from out of the state love is the master plan community lifestyle, especially in areas like Verrado and Vistancia, Estrella, and parts of Surprise. You get parks and trails and community events, pools, golf, and neighborhood atmosphere, and for many buyers, that lifestyle component becomes a huge selling point. Now, here's something many buyers regret: waiting too long, because the West Valley is still evolving, and buyers who waited years in some areas already watched prices increase dramatically. Growth changes markets, and the buyers who understand growth often excuse me, and the buyers who understand growth early will often position themselves better long term. The West Valley is changing rapidly, and understanding the realities early can help you make a smarter relocation decision. If you want my free location guide, DM me, West Valley, and I'll send you neighborhood recommendations, hidden costs, commute breakdowns, and the areas I'd personally recommend based on your goals. SHANDELIN, your neighborhood realtor. Talk to you later.